Yo, ladies and gentlemen, what is up? Welcome back. Today we're going to be ranking the 11 seasons of The Walking Dead. This is something I've wanted to do for quite some time. The only problem is that I just never had watched all the way through The Walking Dead, so I could never do this. The main reason for that being is that, over the years, well, I guess I'll just start off with I started watching The Walking Dead in 2012, and I pretty much have been watching it religiously pretty much ever since. But there is a handful of years, throughout where maybe I just wasn't able to watch it, I guess. So, some of the later seasons, I definitely didn't get to give as much love to them, which is why I just felt like I would never be able to rank this properly. But now, after literally just finishing watching the series today after purchasing the box set, because I do collect. If it wasn't that I collect movies and DVDs, I probably wouldn't have purchased something that expensive. But it just felt right because The Walking Dead has just kind of been a part of my life for so long. But yeah, I'm excited to do this, and I won't make you guys wait any longer. These seasons are out of order. I don't know if I want to rank them out of order. I don't think I'm going to. We're going to rank Season 1 first. I think this has got to be S, easy. Honestly, I think Season 1... I've always loved Season 1 of The Walking Dead. We get to meet a lot of our favorite characters here. Rick Grimes, we get to meet Carl Grimes, we get to meet Shane, we get to meet Dale, Daryl Dixon, Merle Dixon, Glenn. There's so many goddamn characters here. Carol, the list just goes on. It's crazy. Season 1 is absolutely incredible. Morgan, the freaking Guts episode, Days Gone By. I mean, Season 1 is just an incredible ride the whole way through. It may not be Season 5 action-packed or Season 2 just full of so much character drama and lore, but it's got a solid little mix of both, and it's got just enough to keep you on the edge. You don't really want to pull yourself away, you just want to keep binging through it. To me, Season 1 is just a short, fun little story in its own little area of the beginning of The Walking Dead, what got it all started. And to me, it doesn't really belong anywhere other than the S spot. Season 2. This is my personal favorite season of The Walking Dead, so we gotta stick that in S as well. Season 2, the main reason I love it so much is because, gotta hand it to Shane. Shane literally carries this season. Well, I shouldn't say he carries the season, but he kinda does a little bit. Just a little bit. The way he just the way John Bernthal plays Shane's descent into madness and obsessiveness is just so excellent. You can't even pull your eyes away. It's so incredibly entertaining. And the conclusion to Shane's story is very heartbreaking, especially because, Rick is my personal favorite character, and Shane is literally, I would have to say, probably still, to this day, my second favorite character. Not because he's a great person or anything, I just think John Bernthal played him really well, and I think you should be allowed to rank characters based off of how well they were played. Sometimes look past, how fucked up they may be. But yeah, Season 2, there's just so many excellent things. You got the finale with, Herschel and his unlimited ammo shotgun. You've got Glenn and Maggie. You've got the walkers in the barn, of course. There's just so much excellent stuff here. Season 2 is absolutely incredible. And unfortunately, even though I do really enjoy the next few seasons after this, I would say this is literally... everything after this is kind of just the beginning of the end. For me, at least. Literally, in my re-binge of this over the last few months, like I enjoyed season 1 and 2 so much again, and I was like, all right, I haven't watched season 3 in like a hot minute, so this should be fun. And season 3 just it just didn't really do it for me. Season 3, I just I don't know. I have weird feelings about it. I really like the governor. I do kind of like Rick's whole like hallucinating Lori after losing her through childbirth, of course, and Carl's whole kind of like darkness arc. There's a lot of good things in season 3, but it just like there's already just like the little cracks, like like Shock death with Andrea, and not to mention the writing with Andrea just in general in season 3. I feel like they really just butchered her character. I don't know, it was just messed up. I mean, there's a lot of good things, but I definitely do feel like season 3 is a significant markdown from seasons 1 and 2. I'm gonna have to stick it in the B. I would say the first half, like them actually getting into the prison and like dealing with the prisoners and the initial meeting of the governor is pretty entertaining, but I do feel like the second half is kind of where it starts to slow down a bit in terms of entertainment value. Granted, there's some great things, like the governor going absolutely apeshit on his own people, like a just absolute fucking maniac. And then you've got, our people literally just burning Woodbury down and taking the Woodburyans in. And then you've got, like, the whole, like, I guess, I don't even know what to call it, just like a discussion or meeting scene between Rick and the governor while our guys are just kind of out talking with his lackeys and just kind of just shooting the shit. And, I don't know, it's an interesting back half. You've got Merle's death, which is really fucking depressing as well, actually. But, I don't know. I just feel like season 3 is definitely, like I said, just a bit of markdown for me. We've got... Sorry. I'm pretty sure, I can't even tell if that says season... I feel like that says... Does it say third? I can't even read. I'm pretty sure that's the third. Let's see, yeah, that says fourth. Okay, I'm not tripping. The fourth season, I gotta put an A. The fourth season, I do think, is definitely a significant step above season 3 in, excuse me. Excuse me. In many ways. But in kind of the opposite versus season 3, where like the first half of the season, even though there are some things about it I like, it's the second half of the season that really, I think, well, not only did it make, I feel like, The Walking Dead kind of what it was at the time, like so incredibly popular, but also just, I feel like it kind of built the story of a lot of our characters very well. And I don't know, they kind of did the like almost bottle episode thing kind of well this season. It wasn't really like, the story writing was still good. I don't know what happened in the later seasons where they like, we'll get to the later seasons. Unfortunately, the downfall comes pretty quick. It's such a see, the thing with watching this show is it's like so like low-key kind of depressing, because you just know that there's gonna be a point where you're not really gonna be enjoying yourself anywhere near as close to as much as you enjoyed the first half. Yeah, it's a little bit of it. It's just kind of like a weird, bittersweet kind of show to watch sometimes, just because you know. But we'll get to that, because granted, I didn't entirely know what the end was like, and I will say I feel like I was proven wrong. Yeah, season 4. Lots of great things. You got Too Far Gone, and personally, I actually really like the Governor episodes, but that's also because I like the Governor. So, I might be a weirdo. I know a lot of people shit on those episodes. And I also really like the Daryl and Beth episode. I would say that's probably my second favorite episode of the season, actually. And of course the finale is very cool. Them finally getting to Terminus, and you've got Rick, of course, biting what's his nuts throat out. It's all good stuff. It's all generally good stuff. Let's see here. That looks to be the 5th season. Yes. 5th season. Now, I know this season may seem kinda overrated, but it is absolutely and wholeheartedly still an S tier. I mean, it's just top tier television. It's just kind of top tier entertainment. Granted, some of the story elements are completely and utterly fucked. Like, for example, the whole Beth storyline. If that storyline just didn't exist, and this season would, I would say, be more deserving of this S spot. I'm just putting it in this S spot because I've already disassociated from those awful episodes, and I will admit, those were, in my rewatch, those were the only episodes in the whole series I couldn't bring myself to watch. Was the couple standalone episodes, or like the 1 or 2 episodes at the hospital. I couldn't do it. I was like, these are so, I remember these being so fucking boring. I'm not wasting my life on these. And then at the end of the day, they just kill Beth anyway for shock. Like, come on, dude. Like, what? And then they kill Tyrese the next episode, granted in a really, really beautifully, artistically done way, but still, not even like a 2 or 3 episode break. Come on. And then the person that Beth died, like, basically trying to stick up for, gets killed not even like more than a few episodes later after that. Bro, what were, see, Scott Gimple freaking wrote this show into a goddamn early grave. He was not, dude, and you know what's funny, because I've been watching a lot of the behind the scenes, and Scott Gimple, during the times where he's running the show, seems like so much more upbeat. In the seasons where he's no longer the showrunner, he just looks so freaking butthurt. And I just think it's so funny because that is the fate he absolutely deserves. He literally killed the show. He literally did. And not because of character deaths, but because of shock deaths and, you know, kind of abusing the viewers, like, I don't even know, just like, what's the word I'm looking for? Intelligence. Like, just kind of insulting the viewer's intelligence, as if we're not going to start noticing and picking up on the bullshit. But I suppose I put this season in S. I just realized that's kind of where I noticed a lot of problems, like, really badly, I think. You know, just kind of like the beginning of the end for the show, where it's just, it was like already there. But a lot of good things happened, okay? We got Morgan back, okay? We got Rick just basically making Alexandria his bitch. We've got Michonne punching Rick in the face, which I just think is incredibly funny. We've got, well, we have just the introduction of Alexandria in the first place, which is pretty amazing. But, I don't know, I will say the introduction of Alexandria, I feel like, makes the way later seasons just a little bit stale, but I will say they find workarounds for that, so I'll get to that. What else? There's the whole Pete dilemma, which is very, very interesting. There's a lot of interesting stuff. You got the cannibal stuff in the beginning, of course. I don't know why I just kind of glazed over that. I didn't even, it just kind of didn't cross my mind for a second. Yeah, you've got Carol in the first episode as being a complete and utter freaking kamikaze solo fucking badass. It's pretty iconic. I mean, that first episode, everybody and their mom watched that goddamn episode when it aired. So, I mean, season 5 is pretty iconic, and just like I feel like it's just kind of like a special time for a lot of OG Walking Dead fans, if you remember just watching the show week to week. Because I did experience the show, believe it or not. I did experience the show week to week from season 3 to season, I want to say season 10. I was still watching this week to week. Granted, sometimes we would miss a couple weeks. Like in the later seasons, we'd have to like watch a couple episodes or 3 in like one day or something. But we did it. We still made it through. But I do remember season 10 was the one where we stopped eventually, which was really depressing because we literally, for quite literally almost 10 years as a family, we watched The Walking Dead every single week. So that was like it was like, damn, that was like that last thing that we had, and now it's gone. But I still got to finish the show, so we'll continue ranking those on the slightly more less depressing note that I just accidentally brought on myself. We have, I believe this is season 6 right here. I don't know how I feel about season 6, to be honest with you. I watched through this and I just was like, wow, this is like, there's so... I might have to put this in C, to be honest with you. I mean, I liked the Walker herd stuff and the kind of like whole beginning of Rick like really taking Alexandria like into his hands, and I liked the expansion of the world in the second half, with Hilltop and Jesus, and of course, all the Negan hints, and eventually the very excellent finale with the introduction of Negan. But I don't know, there's a lot of problems with the season, like, the finale cliffhanger, the Glenn fake out, there's issues here. There's problems. There's a handful of really shitty bottle episodes, like this, the fucking episode like where it's just Daryl and fucking Sasha and Abraham for a whole episode. Like, bruh, no, that is not what we wanted to see. Daryl, I love Daryl, but he is like one of the most boring characters sometimes to watch. Which is something I will get into in these later seasons as well. But just seeing like almost a whole episode of Daryl and Sasha. I like Abraham, but Daryl and Sasha, like, come on, dude. Like, this is especially later season Daryl. Like, season Daryl, like, post like season 4 is just so boring. Like, I just can't. I'm probably gonna get so freaking flamed. But hey, some people have to post ballsy videos like this, okay? Some people have to just bite the bullet and be honest, okay? I'm gonna be the one to do it. Season 7. I do think season 7, despite what kind of happened to the show because of this season, this kind of like being the nail in the coffin season, at least in terms of, just the whiny viewers that were just like, my favorite character died, I'm not gonna watch it anymore. Bruh, that's the dumbest shit I ever heard in my life. That I've never understood that logic. That is absolutely ridiculous. You're telling me you watched a show for this long and you're just gonna quit watching it because somebody died? It's a zombie apocalypse. People die. What do you expect to happen? They're just gonna live forever? Come on now. Be realistic. Season 7. I'm gonna put it in the B tier. I think I've actually found it significantly more enjoyable to watch than season 6. I really like the kind of just really depressing, almost like, I want to say, what's the word? Like claustrophobic feeling you almost feels like Negan just has like Rick and everybody in just the palm of his hand. It's just like he's just slowly but surely just crushing his fist. And it just feels like that's kind of what Negan's doing this whole time. He's kind of just seems like Rick is screwed and they're never going to get out of this. Granted, they do. But this whole season, it's very kind of dark, and, you know, I like a lot of the characters, and I like a lot of things that happen. I kind of like the arc with Eugene, how he kind of has to switch sides, and then you get to see that paralleled with Daryl, where, you know, he just blatantly refuses and doesn't give in whatsoever and manages to escape, thanks to the help of Carl and Jesus. And then, of course, you have, you know, the whole band getting back together, you know, to finally decide, like, all right, we're done with Negan's shit. We got to figure this out and defeat this weird, you know, dictator, crusader, murderer, psycho that's, you know, definitely not going to live on to being a spin-off after the show ends. That's also another thing of this show. The spin-offs. I haven't watched all of the spin-offs. In fact, I've never watched any of them all the way through. I've only seen a couple episodes of The Ones Who Live. But one thing I'm going to see about season 11 right now, the fact that, like, the series finale is just an intro to a bunch of spin-offs is, like, so sickening. It's messed up. Because, like, if you say, like, just a season finale, it's honestly a really good episode. But as a series finale, it just seems wrong, honestly. But I'll get there when I get there. Sorry, I'm kind of skipping around. But, you know, The Walking Dead is something I think seriously about. And, you know, I feel like, you know, it may boggle my mind from time to time trying to stay completely and utterly on track. But Season 7, what makes Season 7 so incredible? Negan. I mean, do I need to say less? I mean, Negan is one of the best characters in the show. Incredibly entertaining and very funny in Season 7. And just very brutal and kind of a sickening individual, honestly. Just like, you don't want to like this guy. You don't want to like him at all. You're like, man, fuck you. You killed Glenn and Abraham, two of literally the best characters in the show. And you love him. At least I did. I like Negan. Negan, for some goddamn reason, I just could not seem to not like him. He is just too goddamn good at what he does. Jeffrey Dean Morgan, he played the goddamn part, and he played it goddamn right. And he carried Season 7 on his back, with no question, in my mind. As well as, I would say, generally, the rest of the show. From this point, I would say he basically carried on his back. Even when he was a prisoner, those were still some of the best scenes of that whole season. Season 8. Unfortunately, Season 8 does not have a similar, graceful, like, somewhat okay story. We're gonna stick Season 8 in D. I do think Season 8 is probably the worst season. I mean, I do like, there's some stuff about, like, Season 7, 8 I like Dwight. He's a character I do enjoy. Like, there's certain... That's the thing about, like, seasons, like, 6 and on. Or, actually, no, I would even say, honestly, like, from seasons 5 all the way to the end, you're kind of just, like, sifting for gold for, like, the good moments that are, like, seasons 1 through 4. But they're just so much more few and far between. But, like, Season 7 and 8, you know, you've got Dwight, which I like. You've got Negan, of course. And, you know, you've got the whole Eugene stuff. But, I don't know. This whole all-out war just isn't really that convincing. It's just... It's supposed to be grand. And for how much... And most people probably haven't watched as many of the behind-the-scenes as I have. But for how much they talk about wanting to make this show grand and epic... I feel like they kind of do the opposite by adding, like, a bunch of explosive effects and, like, 50 million gunshots for no reason. That just doesn't really sell me. It just seems kind of ridiculous. This kind of... I mean, I see, like, when I see Daryl riding a motorcycle, shooting a bunch of barrels while he's leading a walker herd, even though he could just lead the walker herd by riding his bike, like usual. Or you've got them pulling up to the sanctuary and just shooting out all the windows. Like, okay, So, now there's going to be a massive draft in there. Rain's definitely going to get in, pretty quick. They're going to have to patch those up. But there wasn't even people standing in the windows. So it's like they were just wasting hundreds of bullets. And then, Negan's basically at like point blank range and Rick just misses. Because, I don't know, this season sucks. Season 8's really bad. I mean, and they kill fucking Carl. They kill Carl, man. And then they freaking... And I do like the character that, comes about after Carl's death. I like Sadiq, but then they just kill him later in kind of in my opinion, a screwed up way. That just... I don't know. Some of the deaths later on, just because they didn't want to kill off main, like OG characters, I just feel like we're kind of silly. And especially because they still just continue to do the whole like shock value death thing. I don't think they ever really learned their lesson from that. I don't know. Yeah, season 8 is just not good. But I will say I do feel like it's kind of all up from here, at least to a degree. Season 9, we get the introduction of the Whisperers. We get like the time jump. We also get Rick's departure, which is interesting. But that's kind of what makes this season interesting. Is it's kind of like you kind of just have to wonder what everyone's going to do once Rick is gone. But so these handful of episodes where he is here are quite good. I do like the whole like trying to bring everyone together to build this bridge, including the Saviors, the whole struggle between, Daryl, Maggie, Rick, of keeping Negan alive or killing him. And it's an interesting dilemma that, eventually sends Rick off to his own spin-off. But his final episode, I would say, is definitely one of the best episodes of the show. And everything, pert near everything, I would say, for the rest of Season 9 is pretty generally entertaining. You've got the winter episode, you've got the Pike death scene, which was actually quite effective and killed a decent amount of main characters in one fell swoop. So it was a pretty dramatic scene, and yeah, I think Season 9 was really good. I think it's just pretty fair. I will say one problem I have with it is it's kind of like the beginning of, for some reason, like the writing slowly but surely like making me not like some of the OG characters, like Michonne, for example, being one who just like, for I don't know, it's like this weird thing from season 8 to 9 is like you don't know what the fuck happened, but all of a sudden she is just not remotely likable in any way. Maybe that's just me, maybe I'm crazy, but like season 9 and on, I just don't care for Michonne in any way at all. Granted, she's not really around for much longer past season 9, but well, to do the spinoff, but still, you get what I mean. But yeah, I'm gonna stick season 9 in B. Season 9 in B. I think this was a fairly good season. Not too much bullshit, and a lot of good horror with the Whisperers. Just like a lot of cool elements, a lot of entertainment. And then season 10, we have. This is hard because it's. I think I'm gonna put it above. I'm gonna put it in A. I did like season 10. I found season 10 to be quite entertaining, actually. I really liked a lot of the Whisper stuff quite a bit. I just found it very entertaining, and I liked the whole war. They had to be a lot more creative with it. It's not like they were loaded with guns. I kind of like that they kind of sent Negan in as like a secret agent, and he just kind of gets the job done, deals with Alpha, and eventually Beta, just kind of gets himself killed. And the whispers, they just slowly but surely phase out and they're gone. And it's just kind of, I feel like, a nice one long story, not like the whole one half of a story and then another half of a story in one season. Although there are the bonus episodes at the end, which a lot of people like to just write off, but I would say I was relatively entertained by every single one of those. I honestly didn't even really see anything wrong with them. Obviously, Here's Negan has got to be the best out of all of them. And then I would say probably the Aaron and Gabriel one would probably be the next best. At least I believe that was the season 10 bonus. I'm pretty sure that was. Yeah, it was. But yeah, hey, I feel like that's a fair spot for season 10. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. And the last one, and before I get into this, I just want to let you know I will be doing a character tier list very soon, so stay tuned for that. You should probably subscribe and turn on notifications so that you can actually see that video when it comes out. If you would like, of course. I am not forcing you by any means. Season 11. I think I'm going to have to stick this, honestly, I'm going to stick this in A2. I actually really enjoyed this. I did not really see much problem with it. Obviously, one thing I neglected to mention of season 10 and 11 is that, again, there are just more characters that are kind of written and sometimes played in a way that I'm almost bored of them or just don't really care for them anymore. Some of those characters, for example, being Carol, Maggie, Daryl. These characters are just, I don't understand. Maggie I do understand, but there's just certain things I think it's just the whole weird, like, her leaving for so long and then, like, coming back into the fold and just, like, acting like she runs shit, or it should be the one running shit, is just something I don't understand. Like, I feel like she just kind of gets on her high horse. And this has nothing to do with Negan. Everything she had, like, in her stuff to do with Negan is completely and utterly valid. I mean, that man literally smashed in her husband's head. So everything there is valid, but everything else with Maggie's character that has nothing to do with Negan, I just don't really care for it, personally. Carol is kind of the same way. It's like her whole thing with Daryl, I don't care. And I like when she goes kamikaze and she's a badass, but I feel like that's about her only good quality in these later seasons. In season 11, she has, like, the whole thing with Hornsby, which I kind of like, but then in the end, they just, like, even though he was a piece of shit, I was like, they decided to just kill him. So it's just like, I don't know. I feel like if you're gonna, like, you literally went on all this effort to break him out and then you just kill him. I didn't really understand that. Especially because Hornsby, I freaking like Hornsby. I wanted him to live, even though he was a freaking asshole. I wanted him to live because I liked him for some reason. He seemed like somewhere deep down there were good intentions, and you just got lost in the chaos, as most politicians do. I don't know. And Daryl is just like, there's just too much Daryl. Why couldn't they have made Negan the lead? They should have made Negan the fucking lead. That would have made these later seasons so good. So good. Because literally, the best parts of seasons 9 through 11 is Negan, without a doubt. That is just... He's just so goddamn good. He's so goddamn good and entertaining. And his character arc is just so excellent. I mean, going from being a cheating, lying, lazy, crappy husband to a faithful, trying to save your wife who has cancer during the apocalypse husband, to a ruthless killer who is no longer a husband anymore, who just runs around with a leather jacket and a goddamn bat with barbed wire on it, to a prisoner, to a wise man who will save the people that he wronged, many years prior. It's a really cool arc that I think Negan has, and I feel like that's kind of, you're just aching for like every little moment that Negan's on the screen, and it's not enough. It is not enough for me. Season 11, I do really like Hornsby a lot, and the Pamela and Sebastian, the Miltons, that all that stuff with Commonwealth is really good. There's a lot of great stuff with Eugene and Gabriel, of course. There's just like a lot of the side characters that weren't really as amazing start to become so amazing as the seasons go on. Like Aaron, for example, or Lydia becomes a lot better of a character. Still not as fleshed out as I would have liked. They kind of just keep her on this like one note, like I miss Henry thing, which, I mean, yeah, fair. But like, I'm not saying get over it, but I mean, they could have like made her do something else besides get her arm hacked off. I don't know. But yeah, I realized that was kind of a all over the place, kind of sporadic season ranking. But I'm also doing this freestyle, no script, just kind of, and it's also late. I have had no sleep in the past roughly 2 days, and I'm also incredibly baked right now. But yes, I hope you enjoyed. Subscribe, and I'll catch you all on the next one. Peace out.